Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 20th of November 2018. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're gonna have a look at a few instruments, a few of the charts. But before we start looking at those, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, now then, let's not waste any more of our time and let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to quickly touch on, and that's the FTSE. Basically, this morning I was talking about the FTSE and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 69.85 zone, which in the past acted as a very nice area of support, but as you can see, now we're getting a nice pierce through this support zone, and at the moment the index is kind of getting held here near the 69.37 zone. And as you can see here, in the past we had this nice basically this is the area where it's getting held right now. So in a way, this is the point from where the gap started here, and of course this would be very interesting to see if actually we're going to get a fill here of this little gap that we had here on between the 26th of October and the 29th of October. So keep your eyes on that one, because a continuation further here could potentially stall the price near the 69.08, something like that, approximately there, guys. So for now, just keep monitoring this one. But the fact that it got broken, this 69.85 level got broken, this is becoming quite an interesting situation for the bears, because now the path towards the 68.70 could be open, and we could see maybe another test of this area here, and maybe the 68.70 or even actually the 68.50, which was the lowest point of October. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. If suddenly this reverses back up here and closes the day, let's say, above this 69.85 zone, now probably not everything is running smoothly for the bears, and we could see maybe the bulls kind of trying to fight back here and pushing the index back up here. But for us to, let's say, get more comfortable with higher levels, at least for the short run, we would need to see a nice good jump here above the 70.70 zone. This could potentially open the path towards this next area of good resistance near the 71.90, or in a way you could round it up towards the 7200. So keep your eyes on that one. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones here. Now, the Dow Jones, looking at this 4-hour chart, you can see that yesterday, of course, it had a bit of a sell-off here, or maybe the word "a bit of" is too weak to explain this, but to kind of describe this, let's put it that way. But nevertheless, it found a good support near the 24,909 level. I was talking about this one in one of my previous videos, and as you can see, it bounced off of it nicely to the upside. The only thing is, of course, the momentum is still kind of to the downside, but for now, be very cautious here. We could see some maybe sideways activity as well, where this index could move between the 24,900 level and the 25,500 level. So keep your eyes on that one. So in a way, these are going to be the ones that the levels that we're going to keep a close eye on, because a nice good break here below the 24,900 could potentially open the path towards these lows that we saw here in the end of October. So the first good potential area of support could be near the 24,420 zone. But if that doesn't hold, we do have this little area here of support where the index got held here, from which it kind of pushed back up, and that was approximately around the 24,125 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. If, like I said, if the 24,900 level gets broken, then we could potentially, like I said, start aiming for the 24,420 first, and then maybe just maybe towards the lows of October. On the upside here, a nice good pop above the 25,500 could potentially open the path here towards the 25,800. Now this was marked here by the highs of the 16th of October. Now, if that doesn't hold, if this area is no match for the bulls, we could see this one traveling further up here, where we could then aim for the, let me just adjust this level slightly here. We could aim for this little high here that we saw around the 26,275 zone, and that was on that was last seen on the 8th of November. So good potential area as well. So let me just quickly put the arrows here just for our future reference. So this is what we're going to be looking at. Basically a nice good pop above the 25,500 could potentially open the path towards the 25,800 first, and then maybe going a little bit higher here, at least towards the highs of the 8th of November. And on the downside, again, the break below the 24,900, this is where we're going to be keeping an eye on. Jumping into Brent oil. Now Brent is a good one here and continues to trade lower. Now quickly, if we're going to have a look at the daily chart, you can see that today it's kind of getting hit again, and it's declining. So it continues to actually decline and continues to trade below the steep downside resistance line, or in a way, in other words, downwards moving trend line. This very short term, of course, that was taken from the peak of the 10th of October. Now what we're going to keep an eye on here is, of course, this little low here at around 64.60 zone. Let me just jump into the 4-hour chart quickly on this one, and this is where we're going to keep an eye on. Like I said, this level here, the 64.60, which was marked here by the lows that we saw here last week. A nice good break below that could potentially open the path towards the next possible area of support near the 63.20. 63.20 acted as a very nice area of support here, way back here on the 1st of March, of course, this year still. But again, like I said, this is where we're going to keep an eye on. If we get a nice pop, well, not pop, but a break here below the 64.60, keep your eyes on the 63.20 zone. So approximately around there, because like I said, this could potentially stall the price until the bulls and the bears figure out who's going to take control. But to be honest, if the bears continue to remain in the driver's seat here, then, well, keep your eyes on this very important area of support here. Let me just quickly mark that for future reference, and that's approximately around the 61.70. This was marked here near the lows of the 9th of February, so quite an important level becomes that one. And to be honest, this was just going here way back into history here. This level here, the 61.70, approximately there, maybe just a little bit, a few points higher, was the lowest point near of this year. So basically the commodity, we can see that the commodity is kind of rushing towards that level. It looks like that, but of course, before we start considering those lower levels, we need to see these good strong breaks here below these levels that I was just talking about, the 64.60 initially, and then the 63.20. On the upside, well, if this gets above the 68.35 level, which was marked by the high of Friday last week, certainly keep your eyes on this downside resistance line, because this is what we need. Basically, we need to see a nice good pop above this upside, above this downside resistance line. And of course, then only then we could potentially consider higher levels. But in a way, for those who are more on the conservative side, you could in a way wait until this gets above around this area here, around this 71.45 zone, which was, you can see, it kind of acted as a very good area of resistance here around the 12th of November, and also acted as good support here around the 6th of November. So a nice good break above this level, above the 71.45, could potentially open the path towards the 75.15 zone, and the 75.15 acts as a very nice area of strong support here on the 30th of October and the 24th of October. So quite an important level becomes this one, the 75.15, but again, only if we get a nice pop here above the 71.45. And I do understand that we're quite far away from where it is right now. We're far from that level, but to be honest, like I said, looking at this, just be very cautious here and be very careful with the this commodity. So let's see how that plays out later on. So let's jump into a few pairs now quickly. USDCHF. Now this is a very interesting one and getting a nice boost here right now. You can see that this level here, the 0.9916, or even you can put it to 15 here, continue to act as a very nice area of support, from which you can see that the pair is now pushing back up here, at least trying to push back up here. Certainly what we're going to keep an eye on here is the 0.9960 zone. As you can see, in the past it acted as a very nice area of support. Now it could play out as a nice area of resistance. It's just slightly above that, looking at this 4-hour chart, slightly above that we do have the 200 EMA here shown as the black line. So in a way that could be an area to watch as well. It could potentially hold the rate down. So but again, for us to kind of consider this area here around the 200 EMA, we would first need to see a nice good pop above the 0.9960 level. But this level here is kind of, to be honest, you can see in the past it acted as a very nice area of support, so could become a quite an important level of resistance as well. So keep your eyes on that one. If this suddenly reverses back down today and moves and drops below the 0.9915 level, now brace yourself. We could see further declines, and we do have a nice good potential area of support here near the 0.9815 1550. As you can see, it kind of held the rate from falling further here in mid-October, so quite an important level this is. But again, for us to consider that, the 0.9850, we need to see a good break below the 0.9915 first. And like I said, with the upside, I just kind of told you about this, guys. Keep your eyes on the 0.9960. Jumping into GBPUSD. So the GBPUSD it's quite, to be honest, at the moment is just it's flat, and even though it is kind of moving slowly downwards here, let me just put this arrow, this line here, and it continues to grind lower here. But as you can see, the bulls keep fighting back. We're trying to push the pair back up here, and now what we can see here is that the pair is kind of stuck here between these two levels, between the 127.95 on the downside and the 128.85 on the upside. So basically, in a way, even if we're going to get a nice push here above the 128.85, so we do have some strong resistance levels above here. So of course we're going to keep an eye on the 129.20 first. As you can see, in the past it acted as a very nice, or should I say, the inside swing low here of the 14th of November. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. But again, and as long as it kind of remains below this little short-term downside resistance line that I've got drawn here from the peak of the 7th of November, as long as it kind of remains here, and as long as that line remains intact, in a way we should kind of aim for lower levels again. But that's of course in the scenario if we would get a nice break here above the 128.85. So if of course this continues to push higher, for us to be honest, let's say to get more comfortable with much higher levels in the near term, we would need to wait until this would get back above the 130.30 level, because this could potentially open the path towards these higher resistance levels as well. And but the most important, the one that we're going to be watching here, if of course we get a nice pop here above the 130.30, is the one that we'll watch the 131.75 area, which was marked here by the high of the 7th of November. So keep your eyes on that one. But that's of course only in the scenario we continue traveling further here. So this is a bit of a longer term shot here. So for now, just keep your eyes on the 128.85. Even if it breaks above, the upside could be limited, and we could get stalled here near this short-term downside resistance line. On the On the downside, if this, let's say, this moves straight away down here and breaks below the 127.95, well, keep your eyes for the next potential area of support near the 127.20, which was marked here by the lows of last week. So this could be a nice area for a test. Just slightly below that, we do have the 126.95, which was marked here by the lows of the 30th of October, or in other words, the lowest point of October this year, of course, the 126.95. Just keep your eyes on that one as well. But again, for us to consider these two levels here, we need to get a nice good break here below the 127.95 first. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's EURJPY. Still looking at this kind of this 4-hour chart here, still it is above this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 26th of October. Of course, it continues to push lower here, and it continues to aim for this for another test of course, another possible test of this short-term upside support line. Even, let's say, if it breaks here below this, for us to, let's say, get comfortable with much lower levels, we would need to wait until this pair would drop below the 127.60 level, because only then we'll consider a possibility of this one driving kind of driving all the way here lower towards the 126.65, which was marked here by the lowest point of October. So yep, for now, this could be the bearish scenario here. Again, like I said, a break below this upside support line, the short-term upside support line, wouldn't be enough for us to kind of turn bearish. We need to see a nice good drop below the 127.60. On the upside, well, here we're going to take a more conservative approach here and wait probably until this moves back above the 129.20 in order to kind of consider higher levels, and higher levels like these highs that we saw around the beginning of November, around the 7th of November, and that was approximately around the 130.15 zone. So yep, keep your eyes on that one. A nice good break above this could open the path towards higher levels, and could in a way confirm a forthcoming higher high. So since of course this reversal here that we had in the end of October. Okay guys, so I hope you found it useful. Again, thank you very much for watching and listening, and if you want to join me tomorrow morning, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time, so for my Traders Espresso. But for now, thank you very much for watching and listening, and have a nice evening. Bye bye.